and I'm going to start some cooking really soon for round 2 of the Kids Club. I'm going to start off by washing my hands before we get cooking, and I just want to let you know that at the food center where we're cooking today, I normally am wearing a mask. I decided not to wear one for this video so that you guys would be able to understand me better, but typically at the food center everybody's wearing a mask. My cameraman is far enough away from me that we're totally safe and confident that we've made the right choice here, but generally we're wearing masks at the food center. Hi everybody, welcome to Kids Club round 2. Today we're going to be making some veggie fritters, which are fun. They're like the salad roll where you can kind of do what you want with it. So today we're going to be making potato, carrot, zucchini fritters. They're going to be crispy, delicious. You can eat them with different sauces, ketchup, mayonnaise, sour cream, whatever floats your boat. No sauce at all. Maybe you don't even like sauce and you just like fritters. So today we are going to be starting with zucchini. So we're going to wash each of our vegetables, and once you've washed your zucchini, you're going to cut the ends off and you're going to grate it on one of our cheese graters here. So I did that step already, and I put it into a colander here. So I've salted the zucchini, which does a really interesting thing. Salt pulls the liquid out of fruits and vegetables. So does sugar, actually. So I put some salt on my zucchini and I let it sit for 10 minutes. And I popped it in this guy because actually quite a lot of liquid comes out of it. So once that's happened, I am going to squeeze the zucchini as much as I can and get all of this crazy green zucchini liquid out of it. It's basically water. Here we go. Sort of fun. I don't know. I like squishing things. I don't know about you. Here we go. And zucchini is, you know, it's got quite a lot of water in it. You cut it open and it seems kind of dry, but actually hiding in the zucchini is a lot of liquid. And if we were going to leave the liquid in the zucchini for this recipe, what would happen is it would get kind of loose and it would get kind of squishy and it wouldn't get crispy and yummy, which is sort of the whole point of a fritter. If you ask me, you want something crispy and yummy. So that's looking pretty good. I got a lot of liquid out of that batch. There's still a little bit more in here, and I'm just going to keep squeezing it. Oh, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Literally just squeezing. And you do this as long as you can and get all the liquid out of there. Nice. There we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go pop this dish over by my sink and wash my hands. I'll be quick. So I did that step in a bowl just to show you what I was doing, but you could totally do that over your sink. You don't need to use the colander inside of a bowl. You can just have your colander or your strainer in your sink with the zucchini, and you just squeeze it and wring it all out in there. So here we've got our funny looking mass of zucchini brains. Nice and dry. And now we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. So we've got some potatoes, we've got some carrots, and these guys I washed and I grated here. So grating, you really want to be pretty careful about this. I should have probably told you this before the zucchini, but I'm telling you now. Graters, as you probably know if you've helped your parents grate anything for dinner before, if you've grated anything yourself, they can be a little tricky, and you kind of have to go a little slowly, and you just want to make sure that your knuckles and your fingers are protected, so you're kind of holding it in a similar position that when you're bracing your vegetable with your knife, like I showed you before. We want to have our fingers kind of tucked, and we're just going to go kind of slow. Of course, I'd be holding something to do this, and don't get your fingers trapped in there. So make sure you're going kind of slow and you're watching what you're doing, and your vegetable is not getting too close to your fingers there. At the end, you might want to get your parents to help you do the last little bit, or feel free to throw that little scrap at the end into the compost if you can't quite get it all, because I usually can't quite get it all. So here I have my potatoes grated. Pop those guys in there. You could use sweet potato if you had some sweet potato when you want to make this recipe again. And some carrot, lovely. And we're going to be adding half a cup of whole wheat flour, as well as half a cup of grated cheddar cheese. Yum! Of course, if you're lactose intolerant, you can totally omit that ingredient. Omit means take it away. You don't need to have it in there. So if you don't like the lactose, or if the lactose doesn't like you, just take that ingredient out and it's not going to really make too much of a difference. If you like dairy and you like cheese, it's going to make it really yummy. And now we're going to crack 2 eggs in here. And choop, 1 and 2. So we've got everything in here. We're missing 1 ingredient, which is our onion. This guy. So I'm going to show you how I cut an onion. If you've got really little hands and you're nervous about cutting an onion, feel free to get your parents to help you with this part. I also suggested that you could grate the onion, which is absolutely an option. It's going to make it really fine. This is how I cut an onion. I take the bottom and the top off of the onion first. So I brace it across the onion. I've got my knife in my hand the way I showed you guys in the first video, which is pinching with my thumb on one side, my pointer finger on the other side, and the handle I'm holding with the rest of my fingers. And these guys are pretty round. They try to roll away. So that can be kind of tricky. And we're going to get this end. So I kind of don't cut all the way through when I go and cut the ends of the onions off. And that gives me something that I can kind of pull on to help me get some of the skin off. Because the skin can be really tricky on onions, let me tell you. Pop that guy in there. And now we've got a flat surface, which is the best to cut things on. So cut that guy right in half. So I got 2 round tops there. And I'm going to cut them lengthways across. So I'm using my brace position I showed you before in the last video, which is I've got my fingers just holding the onion. I don't have them flat like this because that's not the safest choice. We might run into a blade on the finger that way, and nobody wants that. So we'll keep our fingers braced. We got a nice little stack of onion slices. We're going to turn it the other way and we're going to cut it along the other way. And get ourselves some nice little cubes. And you might be thinking to yourself, I don't like onions. Onions are too strong and they don't taste good to me. I don't like the way they crunch. They are going to just mix up with everything in this recipe. And once they're baked in the oven, you might not even notice them. Or you might say, hey, an onion's not so bad. The other option here is you don't have to add the onion if you really don't like the onion. You could save the onion for something else. Maybe your mom or your dad could use it in some other cooking. As usual, they're making me cry. This always happens. I don't know what the best trick is to not cry with onions. I've tried all the different tricks. You can stick your tongue out while you're cutting onions. Some people say that helps. And I don't think it really does. It's never done anything for me. You can stick your face in the freezer if the onions are burning your eyes. Sometimes I do that just because it provides a little bit of relief, but you can't really effectively cook with your face in the freezer, so it doesn't work for very long. So now we've got all of our ingredients in the bowl. We've got the eggs, the carrots, the potatoes, the zucchini, the onion, the cheddar cheese, and the flour. I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning. For this recipe, we're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to use a couple shakes of salt. We already had a nice sprinkle of salt on that zucchini at the beginning, so we don't really need too much salt, just a little sprinkle. And now I'm going to mix this all up. Make a nice little fritter batter. So fritters are awesome. Like I said, you can really make anything into a fritter. You could grate up some squash. We're coming into squash season, and squash is delicious. If you had some butternut squash, you could grate that and add that to this recipe. you could make them sweet. You could add, could do some apple in here. All right, so I'll show you what that kind of looks like. We've got kind of this sticky dough. It's not wet, too wet like a cake batter. It's closer to like a cookie batter, but this is going to be savory, not sweet like cookies. Here we go. Okay, so that's looking really good. My oven is preheated at 425 degrees. Back here, I did that before we started the video, and that's on your recipe cards. The first step you're supposed to do is preheat your oven. And here I've got a cookie sheet. And this is what we're going to bake our fritters on. Alright, so I've got a little dash of oil. You could totally use parchment paper. You could use coconut oil or butter, whatever you have at home that's going to help not stick something. And I'm just going to rub this all around here. Make sure that my fritters don't stick to the pan, because there's nothing worse than going to all the effort of cooking something and then it sticks to the pan. I've made that mistake one too many times in my life. Okay, beautiful. We've got our greased up cookie sheet. I've got my greasy little fingers, but that's okay because they're gonna get even more messy right now. I'm gonna take a little clump, put that size of the fritter dough, and I'm going to press it down real flat. If you don't want to touch this stuff, if you're feeling like, oh, that looks a little too sticky for me, then you could totally use a scoop, a little measuring cup scoop, maybe like a 1/4 cup, and scoop some of your dough, and then use a spoon, the back of a spoon, just to flatten it out. But you know, I love cooking, and part of cooking is getting a little messy. And I honestly believe that the best kitchen tool that we have, I could tell you it's a fancy knife or it's a special kind of pot or something, but the best tool is free, and that's your hands. You can get so much done when you use your hands while in the kitchen. Of course, we want to make sure that our hands are really, really clean. Always cleaning our hands before we start cooking. And if we're cooking with different things, we might want to wash our hands in between. Just make sure all of our equipment stays clean. But for something like this, making patties, your hands are perfect. Okay, so I've got some nice little patties here. And I'm just going to rinse my fingers before I put them in the oven. Beautiful. Okay, so 425 degrees, here we come. And I slid those guys right to the back, and we are going to let them cook for 12 minutes. So you can set a timer on your stove or on your parents' phones or whatever device you have, and we'll see you in 12 minutes. Hey everybody, I'm back, and I've got these guys out of the oven. They were in there for 12 minutes, and they are looking nice and crispy. I don't know if you can see that. We've got some nice color on that side there. Kind of nice and brown. Oh, and I can smell the crispy cheese, which is one of the best smells in the world. So to flip these guys, you might be like kind of going at it and breaking the fritter apart. You want to make sure you really get the spatula right under the edge. So it kind of takes a little bit of, you can see what I'm doing here, tap, tap, tapping. Here we go. Kind of, almost sawing it off. This one wants to stick. These guys are sticky, so make sure that you oil your pan enough. There we go. Yum. These are going to be so good. So if your oven is sort of uneven like mine is, you might want to flip the cookie sheet the other way in the oven when you put it back in, because if you look here, you'll notice these guys got a lot darker than these guys. So I'm going to flip the cookie sheet, and I'm going to put these ones to the back of the oven this time. For you, I suggest using 2 oven mitts and holding this cookie sheet with both hands and getting your parent to open the oven door. I'm a pro, I'm a cooking pro, so I'm confident using my one hand, but I definitely recommend using 2 oven mitts, getting someone to help you open, and we'll pop those guys back in for another 12 minutes, so I will see you soon. Okay, so we've got our delicious looking fritters. They're out of the oven. They're nice and crispy. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's some nice crisp on there. I'm super excited. These guys I think would be good at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I'm gonna give it a little taste. It did just come out of the oven, so it's probably really hot. Just delicious. Okay, so these I think would be, oh, we've got a timer going off. These fritters are great on their own. You know, they'd be great for breakfast with some fried eggs. They'd be great in your lunch, cool, if you want to take them with you to school. I think these guys would be good with dinner. I am definitely going to recommend eating them with a little bit of ketchup, maybe a little bit of sour cream. You can have them with some salsa. You could go crazy. So thank you so much for watching the Kids Club video. Round 2. If you want to learn more about food skills, knife skills specifically, watch our salad roll video, which was the first one I put out for kids. That's available on our YouTube channel. You can just see it by clicking on the NELSÓN Community Food Center link, beep, beep, right down there. Follow us, subscribe to our channel, and you'll get to see more cooking videos. We are going to have more coming at you. So early November, we'll be doing another one of these fun kids clubs. Not sure what the recipe's going to be yet. It's a secret even to me. And tell your parents to keep looking in their emails, look online, and we're going to have more information about the next kids club coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys later.